السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. Amani ya Mwenyezi Mungu imfikie Hussein na Ali mwana wa Hussein na wana wa Hussein na masahaba wa Hussein.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to our Muharram program with Sheikh Abdul Jalil from Washington and myself, Naima Nanji. Please feel free to send your comments or your questions to the number on the screen. Today we're actually going to discuss the aftermath of Karbala with Sheikh. Thank you. Sheikh, welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, so you could emphasize more on this topic of the aftermath of Karbala.
Right.
Yes.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. Today our topic is about what are the things that happen after the tragedy of Karbala. In fact, historically, there is so much that have happened after the death of Imam Hussein and his companions. Number one, which really expose who are the enemies of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Number one of the things that happened after that tragedy is that Bani Umayyah, the enemies, they first started to put the bodies of those who got killed in the lineup. They line the bodies, and then they have their horses to come and jump on each and every one of the body. The only body which was able to be excluded was the body of Hur. And the reason why Hur was excluded, because the family of Hur were there. And after the killing of Hur, they say, we refuse to disrespect the body of Hur. So then they told them, you can take the body of Hur. But the others, they all were put together and they jump on those bodies. That's the first incident after that. Number two, then some of them went to the ladies in the tent and they started pulling their earrings and their chains, because they wanted to take as much as valuable things from them. Even in some narration says, Imam Zain al-Abidin went to them and he said, why are you doing this? They said, we want all these jewelries that these women had. Then he said, okay, let's wait. I will get all the jewelries for you. Then Imam Zain al-Abidin took a small bowl and went to all the ladies and said, put your jewelries in there so we can give it to them. So then he gave it to them, those jewelries. That is number two. Number three about what happened also was that after all of this happened, then they went and burned all the tents of Imam Hussein and the family. And you know, that is one of the most difficult part, especially for the children. Because during the day of Ashura or before the Ashura, those tents were considered as the homes for the children, right? Now, when they started burning in that desert, the children were lost. Some of the children, later on, they were found, they were trapped under the feet of horses. Because when they started burning those tents, they started running away. And, you know, sometimes when tragedy happens, the children are the ones who suffer the most. Because they don't know how to handle this situation.
Yeah.
They get lost. How should I do? What should I do in this? So then they get to do whatever comes in their mind. Sometimes it might not be the right decision. Sometimes it might be even the worst decision. But because they're a child, that's what they do. So when they started burning those tents, some of the children got lost. Some of them were found dead under the feet of the horses. And that was another thing they did. Not only that, the next thing they did was to go and start to distribute who takes how many heads of the deceased. Because They wanted to make that as a way of making more money. Because when they go to their masters, Yazid or Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad, everybody wants to show, I brought 5 heads. So that means I get more money.
It was like trophies.
That's right.
That was their trophy.
That's right. So that's what happened. That they started fighting each other, literally. How much should I get? How much should you get? Which was absolutely against the teaching of Islam. Yes. Right? So that was also one of the things that took place aftermath of Karbala. Then the worst part of it also at this point was also to take those heads and put them on the swords and spears. Because this is what they did. And by the way, this is the first in the history of Arabs. Because before this tragedy of Karbala, there was never recorded in any history of Arabs, before Islam and after Islam, that they ever went to a war and they killed their enemies and took the heads off the battlefield. Normally, the Arab custom, when you kill an enemy, you leave the body where the person is killed. That's it.
Yes.
You can take the valuable things, yes, but you don't take the body off the battleground, right? But for the first time in the history of Arabs, that these people, they put the heads on the spears, and what happened is that first the head of Imam Hussein was the first one. Then they put Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas. Then the children of Imam Hussein. Then come the companions, and the heads were carried from the battlefield of Karbala way to Kufa, where Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad, who was the governor appointed by Yazid. So they, from that point, when they took the heads on the spears, on the swords, and they marched them all the way there. That's not only the thing. Now, the women, they were forced to take their hijab off. Zainab Salamullah alayha, she was forced, and not only she was, and this, see, every one of these things, if you compare with Islam, then you get to know why this tragedy is the worst tragedy. Because let me give one example. You know, in Islam, there is a way Islam taught us how to deal with the prisoners of the war. That when you capture someone in the battle, when a Muslim goes to war with the non-Muslims, Islam tells us there are rules and regulations how you Muslim supposed to treat a non-Muslim that you captured or you killed in the battlefield. Right? Now let me give you one example. In the battle that happened between Imam Ali and Amr ibn Abdul Jalil, it's called the Battle of Ditch. In that battle, which this man, he was the one who came to the Prophet. Because just to give you a little bit about that battle and then come back to Karbala. This Battle of Ditch, it happened at the time where the Prophet heard that the enemies of Islam are planning to attack. So the Prophet got his companions. They sat down to decide how to deal with that attack. There were so many ideas, back and forth, back and forth. Later, Salman al-Farisi came up with idea, which the Prophet took that idea. And what was the idea? He said, let's dig the ditch around Medina and put a fire in it just to protect us so that the enemies cannot cross and come to the Medina. Right? Prophet said, fair enough. And this was done also to maintain peace and maintain no bloodshed. And this is also one of the points I want people to understand. When they think Islam is all about bloodshed and fighting, this is at the time of the Prophet when the enemies are coming to attack. But the Prophet says, no, we're going to try to maintain peace. So they dig the ditch. Now, when they dug the ditch around Medina, there is one of the best fighters of that time, and his name is Amr ibn Abdul Jalil. He came because he was a horseman. He knows how to ride a horse. He was very trained, very, very well, very good and with horses. Now, when he came and he saw that fire, for some reason, he was able to cross and came to Medina. When he came, the Prophet was sitting with his companion, and he started yelling and screaming at Prophet Muhammad that, Ya Muhammad, where is your Jannah? Where is your heaven? Where is your hellfire? You talking about hellfire? You talking about heaven? I want you to come and fight me so I can send you to that heaven. Right? The Prophet said to the companions, who will go fight him? And I guarantee the person a Jannah. Nobody except Imam Ali. Now, to make the story short, Imam Ali went and fought him and was able to kill him. When he killed him, Imam Ali alayhi salam, the man has gold, diamonds, and all kind of valuable things. Imam Ali didn't take anything. When he killed him, he left him as it is. He came to the Prophet, said, Ya Rasulullah, the job is done. He's dead. Okay. Then Muslims came and said to the Imam Ali, you can take those golds, diamonds, rings, all these valuable things. Imam said, no, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to do it, and I'm not going to do it. Then they asked, why? He said, because this man, even though he's not a Muslim, but he is respected in his group. And I have to honor and respect him for that matter.
Yes.
That's Imam Ali, with an unbeliever, right?
Okay, Sheikh, we'll just take a short commercial break, and then we will be back, yeah? Thank you.
Thank you.
Daddy never came home and I wasn't sure why. I was confused, my eyes still warm from the kiss he left me. Just the other night, I can't sleep tonight though because I hear Mummy cry. He had a job to do, she'd tell me. I kind of understood, but I didn't really understand why. I know that he had to travel far away to protect us from some bad guys, and now my insides hurt because he said he's coming back, and I can't believe he lied. My eyelids are lied to the tears I've cried. Daddy, are you coming back? Because they're telling me that you died. Bob has to go, he'd tell me. There are some bad people that want to do us harm. He'd hold me real tight, his loving hands stroking my palms. I refuse to live in humiliation, he'd say, so we've taken to arms. They're hijacking our religion, and they're pretending to know our prophet. There's nothing prophetic about their evil, and I will not stand for it. No one else is going to stand up and defend the world against them. The world's against us again, and we're stood firm against them. He kissed me goodbye. Right there on the neck. He left a piece of himself there, just a tiny little speck. The speck tickles, his spectacles almost hanging off his nose. A spectacle awaits him, and it's almost as if he knows. I remember those trips to Erbil. He'd never buy me anything cheap. Wherever I wanted to go, he'd take me. He'd always bring me back gifts to keep. He'd tuck me into bed every night before I'd sleep. His hands would dry my tears if ever I would weep. Whenever I loved something, I'd come back home and find it here in my bedroom. The exception is my dad. I keep loving him, but I never find him here.
If I knew when I was young that you would leave me, that you would leave me, I'd never ever let you go. I'd never ever let you go. If I knew that I'd grow up with no father by me, with no father by me, I'd never have let you go. I'd never ever let you go. I'd never have let you go.
It was a few days later and I heard Mummy crying. The sun sat differently in the sky that day. Instead of burning strongly, amongst the clouds it lay. My father, whose soul is but a piece of mind, didn't return from the front line this time, and it's not giving me peace of mind. And I've never known Daddy to not be on time, and there's a fine line between knowing something's wrong and everything being fine. I knew something was wrong. It could be nothing, but I am tormented by my mind. Is it shaitan, or is it logic that's telling me it's all a sign that Daddy isn't coming back home this time?
Welcome back to our program with Sheikh Abdul Jalil from Washington and me, Naima Nanji. Please feel free to send your comments or your questions to the number on the screen, yeah? Sheikh, welcome.
Thank you. Now, this Karbala is a tragedy that happened between Imam Hussein, the grandson of the Prophet, who was a leader and a Muslim, versus a group so-called Muslims, because they call themselves Muslims. Now, they killed the grandson of the Prophet, but what they did, can you imagine that not even a single shirt was left on his body? Even not even clothes. What he was wearing, his turban was taken away from him, which was the turban of the Prophet. His abba was taken away from him. His qaba was taken away from him. His clothes was taken away from him. Even the ring he was wearing, nothing was left for Imam Hussein. They left him on the land of Karbala for 3 days. No wash. Today in Islam, when somebody died, we are obligated to do what? To wash the body, to close the body, wrap it, and wipe, pray, and then bury it, right? None of this took place with these people. Now, so what they did, after Imam Hussein was killed, these people, they took the head, no ghusl, no kafan, nothing. And this is how they treated the grandson of the Prophet. And then they took the heads off the battlefield, even though Imam Ali killed the enemy of Islam, but didn't take the head out. Did not take any cloth, did not treat anything bad. Even to add something to it, the sister of Amr ibn Abdul Jalil, that enemy of Allah and the enemy of the Islam, when the sister came and she saw her brother was killed by Imam Ali, she didn't know who was the killer. So she asked, who killed my brother? Then they said, Imam Ali. And these are her words, and exactly words in Arabic. She said, Inna qatil akhi kuf'un kareem. She said, I swear by the God that I believe in, that the killer of my brother is a generous fighter. Very kind. Because she knows that that was not custom among the Arabs, that you kill someone, because the rule is, when you kill among the Arabs, when you kill your enemy, you are entitled of every valuable things that they have. That's the rule, right? But Imam Ali, after he killed him, even though he has the right to take all, but he refused to do that. He said, I'm gonna honor and respect this man, even though he was enemy, even though he didn't do the right thing coming, but still I'm gonna respect him. But those people, Bani Umayyah, aftermath of Karbala, they did not have any respect for the body of Imam Hussein nor his companions. So one of the things they did was to take everything from them, women and men, everything. Now after that, then they come the next point, which is what? Dragging the ladies on the dead body of their families. Now you can imagine your brother, your son dies, natural death, right? How do you take just to see the body? Just seeing your family, your relative died natural death. It's very hard to take it, right?
Yes, yes.
Now these people, not only Ahlul Bayt, those who were killed, were murdered wrongly, now they were pulling those women to come and see how they brutalized their families. And imagine, some of them are mothers. One of them like Farwa, one of them like Layla, one of them is like Zainab Salamullah. They were forced to come and look at the body of their own children. Now, the fact that they lost their children is enough tragedy for them. No, now they have to be forced to see how we murdered your child, how we brutalized your child, and come and see it. That is one thing that they have to go through. Not only that, also, those women were put in the chain by their legs and their hands. That's how they treated this. And these are what? These are the family of the Prophet. And this is also one thing that is completely against the teaching of Islam. Because in Islam, when you capture a prisoner of war, there are some manners Islam taught how to deal with them.
Yes.
There is manners that Ahlul Bayt taught us. And let me share with you about some of the manners. You see, Imam Ali alayhi salam, during the month of Ramadan, when he was struck by the enemy of Allah, and his name is Ibn Muljam al-Muradi, when he was captured, right, the first day Imam Ali was completely in a coma. When he came out of that coma, Imam Ali said, I want to talk to him. Ibn Muljam al-Muradi. So bring him. They brought him. When he came, Imam Ali alayhi salam asked him, Ya Ibn Muljam, wasn't I a good leader for you? Didn't I feed you? as a leader supposed to feed his followers? Didn't I make sure you have clothes? Didn't I? Imam Ali started going through the list of things he have done for him. Because it's amazing to look at a person which you have done everything for him, and then he turns around to hurt you. So Imam Ali was asking him, wasn't I good, Imam? Wasn't I kind? Then he says, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, can you rescue someone who is already in the hellfire? This is his word. He says, can you save someone who already happened to be in the hellfire? That's what he said. Imam Ali said, okay, that's done. If you confess to yourself that you're going to hellfire for your action, fair enough. That's between you and God. But then Imam Ali turned to Imam Hassan and he said, my son Hassan, he says, this is how I want you to treat him. He said, اسقوه مما تشربون. Whatever you eat, make sure he eat the same. Can you imagine? Today in the world, you cannot find any kind of treatment that Imam Ali is talking about is being treated in any prison. No president can tell us in the world today that what he eats, he tells the prisoners to eat that way. But that's what Imam Ali said to Imam Hassan. He said, this is my advice to you. And then he said, وَاسْقُوهُ مِمَّا تَشْرَبُونَ. He said, whatever you drink, make sure he drinks the same. Then he said, not only that, he said, I do not allow you to hurt him, to torture him in the name that he killed your father. He said, no. And then he said, this is what I want you to do. He said, if I survive in this, he said, I will take care of it. You don't have to worry about it. I will lead and do what is the right thing. But if I do not survive, for any reason, if I die, he said, I want you to do this. And that's only. He said, he struck me once, and that caused my death. He said, you revenge by striking him once, and that's it. He said, that's one thing I want you to do. He said, but and another thing, I do not allow you to go around in the name that your father was killed to start torturing his wife, his children, his relatives, his friends, his circles. He said, I don't allow you to do that. He said, he killed me, he deserves to be killed for what he did to me. But other people should still be innocent, and they are not to be hurt for any reason. Right? Now, you come to Karbala. Let's say Imam Hussein was from their side. Let's be on their side and say Imam Hussein was the criminal. Good. Now they killed him. Now what is the crime of the children? What is the crime of the women? Why do they have to be treated that way? Now those women were put in the chain. They took their veils off. Then on top of that, they were sticks that they were using hitting those women as they were taking them from the battlefield to the castle of Yazid. That was one of the treatment they have to go through. Not only that, as they were taking them out, they were announcing to people that these are the group of Khawarij. Khawarij means what? These are the outcasters. These are the people who came to fight the Imam, so-called, that's their word, the leader of their time, and this is what their consequence became. Right? When I mean what? Distorting the reality and the truth. Because when you look at the truth, Imam Hussein alayhi salam, he didn't come there to fight them. They force him into all of this. But they distort the history, telling people, these are the one who came for war. These are the one, the evil people. And they march them from where? From the land of Karbala to the castle of Yazid. Now, to the castle of Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad. Now, when they get there, things started again. The first thing was started to humiliate them. Those women and those who were able to survive, like Imam Zain al-Abidin and some children like Imam Muhammad al-Baqir and the other ladies. All right. So the first thing they did as they walked to the castle of Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad is to start mocking them. Now, can you imagine a person who just lost his children, a person lost his father, lost his brothers, and suddenly you started to make fun of them? How do you want the person to feel?
Yeah.
That's what happened to Ahlul Bayt. That when they walk into the castle of Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad, the first thing he started to ask them is this: the names. What is your name? What is the name? And these were people in the chain. Their legs, their hands were chained. Then he will ask them, When he get Imam Zayn al-Abidin, so what is your name? He said, my name is Ali. He said, huh? He started laughing, mocking him. He said, you say your name is Ali? He said, yes, my name is Ali. Then he says, isn't Allah already killed Ali? Allah killed Ali. Then Imam Zayn al-Abidin says, no, I had a brother, he was killed by people, not Allah. And all of this, there is a reason behind it. Because here is what the reason is. Because Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad, the reason why he was asking these questions, he wants to take himself off the hook of that. He is not responsible for killing Ahlul Bayt.
Yes.
So that's what he's saying. Because this is one of the notions that they were able to plant in the heart of some Muslims, that the seed is still growing in the heart of people today. What is it? It's called the seed of Jabr. Jabr means what? It means it's a notion that was brought by Bani Umayyah to take themselves off any responsibility. And why did they do that? They said anything that happened is all by will of Allah. And Allah is in control. So if today they kill Imam Hussein, no, it's not they killed him. Allah killed him. Because Allah is the one who controls everything. So if anything takes place, it's Allah's will, not them. So if Imam Hussein was killed, you and I should not hold them accountable. Who should be held accountable? No, we should hold Allah accountable. Because if Allah did not approve, they would not be able to kill him. And you see today, some Muslims are using these words. If you ask some brother why you are not praying, they say, Allah did not guide me. If Allah is to guide me, because He controls my heart, He can put me in my heart love of salah, and I can start praying. Some sisters will say, oh, if they ask the sister, why didn't you wear hijab? She said, Allah didn't want me to. Because if Allah wants me, He would have put that love of wearing hijab in my heart, and I would have done it. So that way, you don't get to hold them accountable. Who are you going to hold accountable? Allah. So don't blame them for everything. You should blame Allah. And as a matter of fact, they have some verses from the Quran they used to back these things up. Like for example, Yazid used this verse in Surah Ali Imran. تُؤْتِ الْمُلْكَ مَنْ تَشَاءُ تُعِزُّ مَنْ تَشَاءُ وَتُذِلُّ مَنْ تَشَاءُ. That Allah said in the Quran, I give kingdomship to whomever I wish. I honor whomever I wish. I humiliate whomever I wish. That's the ayah says, right? So in that sense, you see, Allah says He gives kingdom to whom He wish. So Allah wants me to be king, and He wanted to put Imam Hussein down. So Allah is the one who did everything. So why are you blaming me? If you have somebody to blame, blame Allah. That is the seed which has been planted by Bani Umayyah and is still growing in the heart of some Muslim up to date.
Yes.
And this happened where it started from the battle from the house from Kufa, when they had the prisoners of the war to come there. That is the first message they started to give, and they started mocking Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. They started humiliating Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, and it didn't stop there. And then, can you imagine these women, these children, after they took them from the land of Karbala to Kufa? They kept them there for a few hours or days, according to some narrations, and then they marched them from Kufa all the way to Sham, where Yazid is. Because Yazid, he never came to Karbala. He never came to Iraq. All his life he lived in Sham. So in Sham, he said he wanted to see all of those prisoners. And they marched these women and children along from Kufa all the way to Karbala. And that was one of the most difficult part of the journey, that historically there is so much to cover on the way until they got there. What happened? What was the conversation? What happened after that? They were put in prison, and so on and so on and so on in the history aftermath of Karbala.
Thank you so much. We're going to wind up here. Thank you so much, Sheikh, for your time and also for sharing your abundance of knowledge. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. Amani ya Mwenyezi Mungu imfikie Hussein na Ali mwana wa Hussein na wana wa Hussein na masahaba wa Hussein.